Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 20th of 2023. I am hoping to get outside for a pretty quick plein air sketch. I'm trying to keep this momentum of doing different color palettes, limited palette studies out in the field. It's a little bit rainy today. The last 24 hours have been pretty stormy here in Wisconsin. Actually, we had some pretty crazy hail yesterday afternoon, and I think it's going to keep storming for most of today. So there's a bit of a break in the weather. It's not windy, and even though it's overcast, it's pretty dry at the moment. So I'm going to just do a plein air painting from the front of our house, looking at our neighbor's driveway. They recently got a sailboat. We don't know a lot of our neighbors. We've only been in this neighborhood for a few months, but in the last couple weeks, they just got this sailboat, and I keep looking at it thinking that would be a pretty cool subject to try a plein air sketch with. So I'm going to do that this morning, and then around 10, I have to head to a meeting for the Paint Cedarburg Plein Air Committee. We put on a week-long plein air event in June, and we just have to start squaring away some of those details. So I have a meeting at 10, and then later today I have to teach online. So I'm gonna head down to the studio real quick and grab my backpack and also look through some of my color charts and figure out which combination of colors I want to try out for today's painting. So here we go. All right, so in my last painting, this one in the middle of the shelf there, from 2 days ago, I chose to work with only cadmium yellow medium and raw umber and titanium white. Today, I think what I'll do is stick with the cadmium yellow medium. I really like this warm yellow, but take out the raw umber, which was this column here, and instead go with something a little bit cooler, and we're gonna try out phthalo green, which is this minty turquoisey color here, which actually in Morris, I made a painting there on the end of the shelf. That was with phthalo green and cadmium red light. So that kind of minty green color is going to be used in today's video, but with yellow instead. So let's go ahead and get outside and see what happens. So I have all my stuff here set up in the driveway. I'm looking over at my neighbor's driveway with their sailboat, and I really like how it's centered right in between both of these houses. So I'll probably end up, keeping this as the focal point and really trying to, sort of exploit these big shapes and diagonals that I can see in the frame. And I'm working on I think this is 6 by 8 inches. Let me go back to my normal size here. This is like 6 by 8 inches. I have my paint that I'll put out on the palette. I still have white and the cad yellow. Just have to squirt some of the phthalo green, and I should be all set to go. I'm gonna try again to attach my phone here. We'll see if this clamp is gonna be strong enough. I have a feeling it might want to tilt backwards, but we're just gonna have to try it and see what happens. All right, so the time is currently about 7:45. We're going to try and see if we can get this done in an hour. This is the best shot that I can get with my little tripod here. So, I know it's not the greatest shot, but we're gonna try a time lapse today, and you'll at least be able to see how I construct some of the bigger shapes. And then sound-wise, I'll be putting in some guitar playing that I've recorded down in the studio over the past couple days. Hopefully you enjoy some of that stuff too. So enjoy the video, and I will probably wrap things up at the end and talk a little bit about the process and what I learned, and we'll see how it turns out. that's the end. You know, it was kind of a struggle. This one was a bit tough because I was working with analogous colors that are a little bit hard to create a nice contrast and depth through temperature. But what I do really like about this one are the just varying kinds of lines and shapes that this view offered. It's something I would like to come back to and revisit if possible in the future. But for now, I think it was a pretty good sketch. I'm noticing actually that some of the information with the shadow of this house here, I'll have to go in and add a little bit of a shadow on the driveway still. So mixing up a little bit of blue, or phthalo green I should say, just to continue the shadow here. I think that'll work. Maybe a little bit more. Like that. And then it should really line up with the shadow in the grass. But yeah, it was definitely a pretty loose painting. Let's see what time it is. So it was just over an hour. Probably was exactly an hour because I started a few minutes after I showed my watch the first time. I'm noticing a couple things that are off with this side of the house here, so while the paint is wet I might fix a couple of those things, and you'll see how it looks when I share the image at the end. But it's a fun combination to play with, this yellow and green. So if you're looking for a new palette to try out, I would encourage you to give this one a shot, especially on a sunny day where you can really start to play with those shadows and highlight areas. So that wraps it up. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.